Adjutant online. Registry.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to today's GGvision StarCraft 2 Coliseum with me, Sebastian Sjöberg, and our player Empire.Kas, here fighting as the Red Terran in the easternmost starting position of the lovely map that is Terminus RE, versus the fearsome Protoss foe that is Grubby, the player from the Netherlands who's been one of the greatest Warcraft 3 pro gamers and champions the world has ever seen, and the only one to have ever married a Miss Singapore. Just a fun fact there. He's nowadays clawing himself up the international StarCraft 2 elite. He's perhaps not the best of the best yet, but definitely a very fearsome player who can use the Protoss race as if it was his beloved orcs from Warcraft 3. And we'll just have to see what the Ukrainian menace known as Empire.Kas can do about that. He was also an ex-Warcraft 3 player. He played human in that game, nowadays Terran in StarCraft 2, and he won all of our hearts when he played in the Team Liquid Star League that was concluded yesterday between Thorstein and Naniva. It was actually the Swedish Terran player Thorstein who stopped Empire.Kas from dominating the whole event in the semi-finals. Before then, Kas had already defeated Liquid Hey-Pro and OGS Nada, so definitely very skilled, and this should be an interesting match, not only because it's a Protoss versus Terran on Terminus and ex-Warcraft 3 players, but because Kas's style of playing Terran is quite defensive, quite reactive. He sees what the safest way to survive is and try to figure out what its opponent wants to do, stops that from happening, and then pwns him. Grubby, meanwhile, is similar to fellow Protoss player Whiteraw, no stranger to special tactics. He's quite unorthodox oftentimes. Sure, he can pull off a 4-gate just like anyone else, but if anything, Grubby is ingenious and can definitely be creative. So they should be quite well matched in opposite ways, these two players, and it will be very interesting to see what they can pull out. Terminus RE, of course, lends itself very well to the long-winded games that really showcase people's skills, and here we see Grubby placing a proxy pylon where Empire.Kas would like to place his command centers. Now that will be slightly delayed, but since Kas had only recently begun constructing without Grubby's knowledge, that will probably not come into play. Meanwhile, we see Grubby now having constructed his cybernetics core, going for warp grade upgrade, and has yet to do any tech commitment of any kind. Maybe this, no, doesn't look like a fast expansion. He has not accumulated enough minerals, going for Stalker first rather than Sentry. Meanwhile, Kas is fortifying his choke here with a bunker. Here, of course, on this version of Terminus, we have another secondary entrance to Kas's base complex. Here there are destructible debris in the way, but that can be destroyed and then you can walk in over here. So maybe that will come into play, we'll have to see, because Grubby is indeed placing a warp-in pylon. He will be able to warp in troops over here, and Kas, of course, does not yet know anything about that. So looks like Grubby may be putting on some early siege here, now advancing with a Zealot and a Stalker, and they will of course be thwarted by that bunker. Now Kas is moving out his freshly constructed command center, putting up 2 more barracks, that will make it 4 in total, and transferring SCVs. And it seems like Grubby has yet to fully commit to anything here. He is constructing 3 more gates, however, so indeed it looks like one of those good old-fashioned 4 gates that many Protoss players use to put on early pressure and trying to get a winning lead using these warp-in pylons. So we'll just have to see if Kas can defend this, because it seems like Grubby, since he's not taking an expansion of his own, he will need to inflict some serious damage early, otherwise Kas will just be too far ahead economy wise. So here we see warping in 3 Stalkers, and I'm sure with a couple of more he will probably start to poke a little bit on the bunkers, and then if that doesn't work, start to destroy the obstacle in the way of getting into Grubby's base from the back end. Now SCVs are pulled in order to repair the bunker, and that should repel the Protoss menace. And I just need to have a swig of casting coffee. That is excellent. Now sentries are joining the fray. They will of course not have too much mana yet, but a force field and a guardian shield is not far away. Kas is continuing to fortify. Looking at the income, they are dead even. Kas, of course, with his mules could be said to be slightly ahead. Now constructing a tech lab, so maybe some marauders will be coming out. That would be an excellent idea. Unit-wise, we have 5 zealots, 5 stalkers, and 1 sentry versus the 15 marines, which are fortified here behind the bunkers. And yes, Grubby does realize that he cannot really break the entrance, so he will destroy this destructible debris here. And Kas will then not be able to utilize his bunkers effectively, so this could be a very deadly strike indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Only now is Kas beginning stim-pack research that will not be done in time. So this is it. If Grubby can inflict some serious damage and prevent mining, he can definitely take a winning lead here. But Kas, if he can hold, well, then he should be in a very good position. And here we go, Guardian Shield is up, Marines are shooting at the Zealots. If he pulls his SCVs now, he doesn't have to take any significant losses, and there he pulls them, only killing a mule and 1 or 2 SCVs. And the Marines are focusing, firing down the Zealots and taking heavy damage. And with the SCVs advancing, Grubby is forced to retreat. It seems like Kas may be able to hold, and Grubby is in full retreat. He of course does not have blink or anything as advanced yet. And here the bunkers are still alive. If Kas can get in there, Grubby's whole attack will have been repelled properly and fully. And Grubby seems to be continuing to commit. Here it's now got, I believe it's 9 stalkers. Now we'll make that 8. With no additional forces on the way. And this is it, ladies and gentlemen. He has yet to take another expansion or anything like that. He's fully committed to this attack. He needs to inflict serious damage now. As I say that, he starts to construct his expansion, realizing perhaps that his timing window has closed, and he's retreating now with all of these forces. But look here, ladies and gentlemen, this is more than a nexus. This is almost 2 nexuses of income walking home from the siege they did not win. So Grubby could have had a nexus up and mining for a long time, and even here we see a half-constructed supply depot preventing Grubby from taking his natural. So Grubby is definitely behind economically, and Kas is well aware of that and will do whatever he can to make that distance between him and Grubby in the terms of economy even longer. He will now punish Grubby for retreating and being out of position. We'll just have to see what Kas can do to follow this up, because now he needs to fortify his economic advantage and continue to push. It seems like he might be able to take down this expansion before it even completes. If so, Kas will be in a commanding lead of this game, but Grubby will definitely try to prevent that from happening, and the nexus completes. It will now be very difficult for Kas to take down, and indeed he is outnumbered. So Grubby successfully defends his new expansion, and this gives him a bit of relief. He can now be in the game a while longer, transferring probes over. Now we see concussive shells being completed for Kas's marauders. Meanwhile, not much else tech-wise has happened in Grubby's base, no Twilight Council or anything, so they're stuck on a low-tier slugfest here, and now Grubby's moving back up. Meanwhile, Kas is extending his economic advantage by expanding once again. He wants to be 1 expansion up on Grubby, then he can be quite comfortable. Seems like Grubby had second thoughts about attacking, even though this is fairly unguarded. There are only units, no bunkers, or definitely no siege tanks up yet. Now we see Kas beginning medevac production, as well as getting the combat shield upgrades. Having 1 factory, but that probably just was constructed for the sake of getting a starport. Adding a more tech lab, so it seems like he'll be combating this stalker heavy army with marauders, which is not a bad idea at all. Maybe he'll go for some drop action, we'll just have to see, but that could be a good thing. Meanwhile, Grubby is going for his robotics bay. Robotics facility, I mean. Maybe he'll try to get Colossi out. An Observer would be a very good thing. Immortals, definitely also versatile against the heavy Marauder force. And again, I need to take a swig of my casting coffee. That is invigorating. So, ladies and gentlemen, it seems like we have an interesting game here that's moving into the mid-game, with blows being taken and given, and now we see a medivac full of forces just being completely obliterated by Grubby. Now that is a small but very important victory for our Dutch Protoss player here. He managed to combat Kas's attempt at harassment and is now able to expand once again. Of course he is behind Kas, who has his second expansion up for quite a while, but he's holding on there, he's holding in, and he doesn't yet have Colossi, only now constructing the robotics base, so he's a minute or two away from having a significant Colossi force, and now we see another drop being loaded up. So ladies and gentlemen, if Kas can inflict some surgical damage here, though it seems like Grubby is quite aware, he will definitely be in a commanding lead, but as of now, it's still anyone's game. Kas seems to be doing a two-pronged attack. This part of it is completely deflected, but that's okay as long as Kas can inflict some damage here. Now destroying the destructible debris that Grubby previously destroyed up at Kas's base. Now we see Grubby indeed going for the Colossi, constructing one and having the Thermal Lance upgrade on the way. And Kas have this expeditionary force to take down a Zealot and a Pylon, but he needs to do more damage with this force, or otherwise Grub might be able to claw himself back into this game. He has successfully deflected 2 separate medivac drops, and yeah, it is definitely getting exciting here, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the unit wise, we have 1 Colossi, 13 Zealots, seems like those, and 11 Stalkers of course, and 4 Sentries versus 15 Marines and 21 very deadly Marauders. I believe they soon will have their first attack upgrade, and that might be the trigger for Kas to attack. He wants to attack before the Colossi force gets too heavy. Soon Grubby will have 2 out. When he gets 3, things get bad. If he gets 4, well, that is a real menace. But that is of course why Kas is going heavy on the medevac production, now constructing 4 Vikings that will be able to combat the Colossi, but it's all about getting the right unit composition at this stage. If you're too heavy on the Viking side, you won't have enough Marines and Marauders, and if you have too many of them, the Colossi will slaughter them because you don't have enough Vikings to kill them off fast. So I'd say the ball is in Kas's corner right now to make something happen, and it even seems like Grubby is getting quite ballsy, might be able to take a 4th expansion out here in the unprotected open, and definitely Grubby is clawing himself back into this game, now getting ahead with his upgrades, getting a Twilight Council, maybe for some Templar action, or just getting Blink for his Stalkers. Blink of course makes the Stalkers so much more versatile, so much more deadly. They are the Mutalisks of StarCraft 2 in the ability to being micro. Looks like Kas however is now committing to a serious attack, and this will prompt Grubby to respond. And it all comes down to this battle, ladies and gentlemen. Seems like Kas will try to take down this expansion, that should be no problem. But will his forces be able to hold against the Protoss King's aggression? There's only one Colossi, now there are 2 Colossi, now getting completely obliterated fast by the Vikings. But look at those beautiful force fields, cutting Kas's forces in half. But Grubby had too few Colossi. The force fields, they may hold, but behind them lies a huge force of Marines and Marauders that just wasn't killed enough by the insufficient Colossi count from Grubby. You're now getting Zealot legs and his upgrades, as well as a Ninja Nexus, it must be called, but this SUV has already scouted it, so Kas should be able to take it down with his reinforcements. So Kas is now in a commanding lead, because he was able to both take out Colossi and a significant size of Grubby's army, as well as take down an existing expansion and prevent Grubby from taking a new one. Kas, the Ukrainian menace that we've come to know and love from his victories in the Team Liquid Star League, is responding with a ninja command center of his own. This is of course what we call a base that's being constructed behind enemy lines, like a ninja. And again, looking at the unit count, we now have a commanding advantage for our Ukrainian player Kas. 30 Marines, that's 30 Marauders, sorry, and 11 Marines, as well as 5 very deadly Vikings versus the 1 Colossi, 8 Stalkers and 12 Zealots of Grubby. and Kas is now expanding all over the map, like you should, like you need to do when you're in a leading position. Grubby is forced to take this new expansion because he's getting starved and he knows he needs to get his economy up, but this is a desperation move. He cannot hold it, he cannot defend it, and he's forced to attack into a superior army. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm calling it. Grubby has lost this match against Empire.Kas on Terminus RE, and there comes the GG. This was a commanding victory for Kas, and again a testament to how a defensive Terran can really just react to what his opponent is doing, deflect it properly, and then at the opportune moment just extend his advantage and put himself in a position where he cannot possibly lose. Kas did not commit to attacking Grubby full on in this earlier attack. He just wanted to take out his expansion and as many units as he could without losing the entirety of his army. Then he retreated, and then Grubby was in shatters and had to rebuild his forces and economy at the same time, whereas Kas could just resupply and make sure that no ninja nexus went down. Beautiful testament of how a reactive defensive Terran can be one of the hardest opponents to beat in StarCraft 2. Now I hope you enjoyed this cast. This has been StarCraft 2 GGvision Coliseum here on Monday, and I'm very happy to be back in action. If you enjoyed it, well, stay tuned, because tomorrow there will be more, and the same the day after that. I'm Sebastian Sjöberg, thanks for watching, GG for now.